I don't know what's happened and I don't know why, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just feel like super intensely down. Like I just feel really down. Like I don't, like melancholy. I think I was fine for most of the day, and then I kind of like took a nap, and then I woke up. I did more assignments. I made a decent amount of progress on my assignments. I didn't really film that just because I like to have my camera out as I do things. It feels like I have friends with me while I do things, but sometimes it can be a little distracting. So I needed to focus and just like actually get some of my assignments done. But then all of a sudden, I was just like hit with a wave of like gloom and sadness and like a low. And I don't know why. My only assumption is that like last week, I remember I gave myself Wednesday off because I was going to a concert and it was out of town. I had to like drive there for a couple of hours. So I made the day for me and myself. And then that was such a high. I think in recent history, that is like, I felt so alive that night. I had so much fun that like maybe now it's just like a come down, but it's been a week. So I don't think it needs to be that or it is that. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I just feel kind of sad and like a Debbie Downer. Not even today, because I was feeling fine earlier, but just like right now, especially. Who knows? I don't know. I also just like today, like out of nowhere, I just got super icked out by myself. Like, I gave myself the biggest ick of all time. Like, who was I? Like, what was I doing? Anyway, all I can really do is just like laugh at myself and get over myself and move on and pretend that it just never happened. Just never happened. That's it.
And then we're like, we're just, this is like 2020, like LA house parties are like going up. Like, so like we're like going to this fire ass party, and at this point it's like looking over the hills and there's
I have to say, I have to give myself props for learning balance, time management. I used to be the type of person, especially the type of student, where I felt like if I got a set of assignments, I felt like I had to do either all of it that day, the day I decided to do it, like everything all at once. If I waited, it would be the end of the world. And I like refused to like pause midway or break things down and make things simpler for myself. Nowadays, I feel like I've gotten much better at stopping when I don't feel myself enjoying the work and the process anymore, because when you're not having fun, you're not being productive. Don't care what you say. That's the truth. I feel like I've gotten much better at thinking in terms of like, well, at least we made progress, so this helps us in the future. And so for all of my 4 classes, there's a decent amount of coursework in all of them to different degrees, obviously, but just focusing on what is a priority at the moment, making sure I at least get that done that day. And if I don't do anything else, then it's fine, just as long as I get things done before the deadline. And also, to be honest, for one assignment for one of my classes, I did just straight up, I did half the assignment and then the other half I totally forgot and just like never submitted. And old me would have genuinely gone ballistic. Like I can literally, like my blood pressure, I could like feel it physically rise when I would make a mistake like that. But now I'm a lot more gracious on myself. I still have an A in the class and I'm fairly confident I can maintain that. So I'm not too pressed about it anymore. I'm giving myself grace. I'm keeping myself accountable and responsible. I'm not denying that I totally forgot to submit the other half of the assignment, but you know, it is what it is. I've accepted it and I'm moving on with peace and with grace. I feel much better. And let me tell you what made me feel better. And it's going to sound kind of ridiculous. I think earlier I was like, oh, I'm in like such a doom and gloom, right? What I did is I went on my Instagram and I love my Instagram. I've curated it such that it's not that I don't love the people in my life, but like looking at their posts, and also the people in my life don't post that frequently anyway. So I used to find Instagram kind of just like dry. I have curated it such that I follow accounts that post really interesting art and I interact with posts that I think are funny, or like our art accounts, artists accounts, or whatever. And what am I trying to say here? I follow a lot of like art and culture accounts that I find really interesting content off of, and I interact with that content. And so now every single time I open Instagram, I am not afraid to like things, repost things. I think of it as like cultural shopping. It kind of gives me the high of shopping. I think it's because I'm like clicking a button, like the checkout button, but it's a repost or a like. And I was just talking to my friend. I was like, you know, sometimes I feel kind of bad for the people who follow me on Instagram, because this is like so true. I used to be a huge Tumblr person. I loved Tumblr back in the days where it was popular. And I am an aggressive liker, reposter. I will like smash that repost button, smash that like button. Like I I love doing that. It gives me such a high, and I think in a weird way, it is kind of a form of self-expression because I kind of forget that people can see my reposts, but then I realize, and then I realize I don't care, and I feel much better. So yeah, honestly, I did that for a little bit and I feel fantastic now. And I don't feel fantastic. I feel okay. I feel like good. I think fantastic is extreme, but I feel better than I felt earlier. And also, I've been just like texting, chit chatting with some friends, and that always puts me in a much better mood. Sorry for the sound of my retainer cleaner. I have to shower now. You guys don't get to see that. Sorry, it's distracting even for me. I have to shower now. You guys can't see that. So I am going to end this little clip here and tune in later.